What's up guys, today I'm back with the second part of this lesson, which is our solid aggressive weapon against black. So in the first lesson I covered the move after we play our move, a surprising move 1b3. I covered the move pawn e5, which is indeed the most popular response against this opening. So you might want to check that video out before you actually learn this response against the move 1d5. So if you did not check the previous video, do check it out. The link will be in the description below, and let's get started with today's lesson. So today we actually wanted to cover the move pawn d5, which is the second most popular played move by black. And in this instance we played the move bishop to b2, our usual setup. Our bishop here on b2 is currently looking at the central pawns e5 and d4. Then black mainly continues with the move knight to c6. We play e3, and after black plays the move e5, it might actually transpose in one of the variations that we covered in the previous video. And here we usually play our move bishop to b5, pinning the knight to the black's king, and we are currently attacking the e5 pawn as it is currently now undefended. And most of your strong opponents in this position will play the move queen to g5, which is suggested by super strong computers known as engines these days. And I also got you covered here if they play this line. So in this position you don't play moves like g3 defending your position, or you play the move queen to f3. No, we are currently playing white, guys, and it is our main idea to attack the black's central pawns and to undermine them with our pawns. So we play the hyper aggressive move knight to f3. We are going all out. We are currently now attacking the queen on g5, and if black plays something passive like queen f6 or queen e7, then we don't mind. Oh, sorry, they won't play queen h5 here. So if they play the move queen f6 or queen e7, then we just happily win a pawn. Pawns are expensive these days, so we currently attacking the e5 pawn twice, and black will continue usually with the move queen takes on g2. Then we play the move rook g1, attacking the queen on g2, and after the move queen to h3, we play the move bishop takes on e5, regaining our material loss here on g2. We're currently down a pawn. So they usually continue with the move bishop to g4, attacking our knight on f3, as it is now currently attacked by two pieces, the queen and the bishop. And we play the move rook to g3, beating the queen and also defending our knight on f3. And after the move queen to h5, we just grab another pawn, bishop takes on c7. As you can see that the bishop is currently mopping the pawns down. It first took the e5 pawn, and now it took the c7 pawn, and we are currently a pawn up. And after the move rook to c8, we play the move bishop to f4, holding a strong and active position. And I believe that white has more practical winning chances in this game. Thus you have a more active position to play here. And yeah, so that gets to cover up the move after pawn e5. Also after the move queen g5, then you just play this um, I wouldn't say a crazy line, you just play this aggressive line, and you actually get a better position in the opening, so you can be happy. There are also various options for black after you play the move e3, which might include the quiet move knight to f6, whereby black does not intend to put pawns, yet strives to develop more pieces and to actually aim for development and a strong attack in the late game. So after the move knight to f6, it is important that you first play the move knight to f3, developing your knight here, and actually, many of you may ask that why not to play our usual move bishop to g5 here. Well, in this case, if we play the move bishop to b5, sorry, it's actually not bishop g5. If you play the move bishop to b5 here, black can just play the move a6 and kick your bishop away, as there was currently no pawn on e5 that was being attacked by our bishop. So we must first play the move knight to f3, and after the move bishop to g4 here, which is the most played move, then now we play the move bishop to b5, and black mainly replies with the move pawn to e6, and then we play the move pawn to h3, asking the bishop a question whether it wants to take here on f3 or it will retreat on h5. And let's first cover the move bishop to h5, whereby we play the crazy looking move pawn to g4 in this case, and after they play the move bishop to g6, we play the move knight to e5, putting strong pressure on this c6 knight here, and also attacking the bishop on g6. And after the move queen d6 here, defending this threat of knight takes c6, winning no exchange, then we play the move pawn to f4, retaining a better position, and also putting strong pressure in overall black's position. So if black here tries to attack our bold kingside expansion by moves like h5, then we can actually play the move pawn to g5 here. And if black is being stubborn and continues to go forward with moves knight to e4, then we just play the move bishop to a3, winning a lot of material here. Actually, white is completely winning in this position, because black is forced to play the move queen to d8, and we just take here on c6, and black is forced to block the check with the queen, as both of these squares are covered by white's bishops. The other bishop is covering this diagonal, and the one is also giving a check here. So after queen d7, you just win material. You just win material, and you actually have a better position. You will capture here on f8, play knight to c3. You castle short in this instance, because black has simply no attack here. They have insufficient material to attack the king, and you're overall having a better position. Well, coming in this position whereby they played the move knight to e4 here. Well, in this instance, in this position whereby they played the move knight to e4, they could have tried a move like knight to d7 here, which is better than knight to e4. In this case, they hope to attack your knight here. Then you just continue with your move bishop to a3, and currently the queen is actually trapped. It has no way to go, as this knight is blocking the queen from moving to the d8 square. And then you just after they capture on a3, then you just happily recapture, and you are actually having material advantage here as well. If they capture on a5, you just recapture, and after they capture on a3, you just castle, because yeah, they have no way to attack your king here, and you just play a solid and a better position. After they play the move c6, you retreat on d3, and after they capture on d3, you capture with the c pawn, and after they capture here, then you just play the move pawn d4, and you actually have a better position here as well. And also coming back in this position whereby you played the move pawn to h3 and they captured, also they played the move bishop to h5 here, as we saw in this line whereby they played bishop h5, then you played g4, regaining this position. They could have tried to play a move like bishop to bishop takes on f3. Sorry about that. They could have tried to play the move bishop takes on f3, whereby you will play the move queen takes on f3, and after the move queen to d6, you will continue with the move c4. Sorry about that. You will continue with the move pawn c4, and after they play the move d takes on c4, you just recapture with the pawn on c4. This is actually one of the familiar positions that we got in the e5 advancement, whereby after they play the move pawn to a6, you just capture on c6, and after queen takes on c6, you just take the queen on c6 with check, and after they play the move bishop takes on c6, you just play the move pawn to d3. It is your long-term plan here to place your pawns on light squares so that you don't block the way of your bishop, and you just continue development with the moves knight to d2, you castle short, and then you can bring your rooks to the c and the d files, and you just play a safe and an active endgame. Also coming back in this line of in some quiet lines, after this move knight to c6, they might try to play moves like after you play the move pawn to e3. In this position we covered the moves knight to f6 and pawn to e5. Well, they might play another quiet move in this position, which is bishop to f5, not looking to come into your way here, and they just develop a bishop. Looks like a natural move, but you just play the move knight to f3. You just follow your usual setup, and after they play the move pawn to e6, you play the move bishop to b5. Nothing much. You are just pinning this knight here on the king. You just developed a piece, and you are one move from castling. And after they play the move knight to f6, then you play the move knight to e5, putting strong pressure on this c6 knight. You are currently threatening to win exchange. After knight takes on c6, b takes on c6, bishop takes on c6 check, and knight to d7 or king e7, they actually don't matter. Then you just capture the rook on a8, so they have to do something about that. Well, they can play the move queen to d6, then you continue with the move pawn to f4 as usual, and now you are currently threatening to play bishop to a3, and if they repeat what they have done earlier, they play knight d7, you just trap the queen with bishop to a3, and they have to move the queen, by the way. Queens to c5, they still maintain the protecting this knight on c6, and they actually are currently attacking the c2 pawn here, and then you can play the move pawn to c4, removing their target here, and then after they capture the pawn on c4, you just recapture with the b pawn, and after they play the move pawn a6, then you simply play the move bishop to d4, attacking the queen, and after the move queen to d6, you play a crazy move queen to a4. You are currently putting strong pressure on the c6 knight now, and black is completely paralyzed in this position. Well, they cannot capture here because of their rook is pinned, and they can play the move knight to d7, removing this annoying pin here from their king, and then you can play the move knight takes on c6. After b takes on c6, you play bishop takes on c6. After the move rook to b8, you just continue with your move pawn to c5, and after queen to e7, you continue pawn e4, attacking the black's bishop, and after the move bishop to g4, actually continue with the move pawn h3, bishop to h5, pawn g4, attacking the bishop again, and then after they play the move bishop to g6, you play the move knight to c3, and look at this space advantage that white has in this king side of the board. If they play the move queen to h4, then you can simply move your king to d1, or even better option is to just play the move bishop to f2 and cover your king, and you will put pressure on this knight here, and you are having a great position here. I would say that this position is already winning for white. So that just covers everything that we needed to know in this second part of the video, but I do have a bonus line for you. If they play another quiet option, which is the move knight to f6 and bishop to f5. Let me quickly share the line with you. After b3, knight f6, bishop to b2, d5, e3, and bishop to f5. White has a lot of present options here as well. You can actually see that by playing the move bishop to f5, they are currently avoiding this knight to c6 move, whereby you play bishop to b5, pinning the knight to the king. So in this case, you play the move knight to f3 first, because it makes no sense to play the move bishop to b5, because they will play the move c6. So after the move knight to f3, they play the move pawn e6, then you play pawn c4, putting pressure on the black's pawns on the center. Then after they play the move pawn to c5, establishing more central control and perhaps preparing the move d4 in the future. Then you just capture on c5, you capture on d5, and after knight takes on d5, you play bishop to b5 check, and after the move knight d7, you play the move knight to e5, and you put strong pressure on black's center here. And after they play the move knight to f6 here, they have to defend this pin. Then you play the move queen to f3, again looking at black's weak pawn on b7, and after they play the move bishop to d6, which is the strongest reply according to the engine, you just take the knight on d7. After knight takes on d7, you play the move g4, hitting the bishop here, and after they play the move bishop takes on b1, you play rook takes on b1, rook b8, then you just capture the pawn on g7, and after they play the move rook to g8, then you play the move bishop to f6, and you are currently having a strong position, quite active position here, and the game continues normally with the move queen to b6. Then after bishop takes on d7, you play the move king takes on d7, and after h3 you have a stable yet active position to play in this instance. I also want to cover the last option here for black. After the move after the move e3, instead of playing the usual move bishop to f5, they might consider playing the move pawn g6 in this case, looking to fianchetto their bishop on g7, at which you will continue with your usual setup. You will play the move knight to f3. After the move bishop to g7, you play c4, putting strong pressure onto the black's pawns here, and you, after they capture there, then you capture with your bishop. After the move c5, then you just castle short. After knight c6, you play the move pawn d4. Just a little note, guys, what you need to remember in these lines is that you need to keep on attacking black's center with your pieces, and you undermine it with your pawns. Thus it will be very easy to remember these variations, and you will implement the opening idea well perfectly in your own games without any need of hard memorizing the lines and so on. So let's continue. After d4, they usually take the pawn, you will capture with the knight, and after they capture with the knight, then you capture with the bishop, keeping more pieces in the board. Well, it is okay to capture with the queen if you want to trade and go into this endgame, but you can just keep a pleasant option and just play bishop takes on d4. After short castles, you play the move pawn h3 to prevent the bishop from going to g4 and putting strong pressure on your queen. So after they play bishop to f5, then you just continue with the move knight to d2. You will continue with the moves rook to c1, queen to e2, and rook fd1, and overall you have a great and a solid position here. In the next chapter of the video, I will cover the symmetrical variation of the Nimzo-Larsen attack with the move 1b6, and that will be our final chapter in this lesson, whereby you can have a full review of this opening and you can implement it successfully in your own games. Hope that you enjoyed this one. Consider subscribing to the channel for more chess content, and don't forget to hit like in the video. Comment down below on what opening you would like for me to cover next after I finish this one. Take care, my friends, and wishing you a rest of your good day.